Okay, so I'm pretty sure we're live. Hey, it's been a while of time. I've been here for a while, but I just want to make sure we're gonna dive together on the internet. We're gonna see a bunch of stuff right now. Look, I know everybody saw that Andrew Tate got arrested in Miami by U.S. Marshals. So we're gonna find what's the latest things. We're gonna dive on X and see what's going on, what happened. Because I mean, some people said that is a big distraction set, or I mean, maybe yes, maybe not, maybe not. So when somebody gets hit, and I'm gonna make clear here, a hard worker, person who earned anything, who did everything for themselves, people are gonna try to take him down. That's normal. That's very normal, you know, because like Myron Gaines said, I remember I saw a video of him that Kamala Harris posted on her tweet on X. She posted on X saying that the the way and the cause, technically, I'm just saying it straight to the point. The cause of them losing the elections was because the streamers with masculinity and workout with fitness claiming Myron Gaines and Andrew Tate are the ones that push, the young people to not, you know, and that happened. It actually happened. So I saw a bunch of kiddos out there, teenagers, young men that push their families to vote Republican. And it's not about politics, but it's involved, because it's society who've been ruling last administration, Democrats. So and I understood that this is something that nobody wants to have once again. We can't lose the next elections. We need to stay put into the election system because Save Act will make sure. Look, we're the only country that don't ask an ID to vote. I said it before. Andrew Tate also mentioned that the administration of Biden was the one that set him up to be locked at his house in Romania, and they couldn't leave Romania and come to the US. I'm pretty sure something's going on. It's a setup. It's a setup all the time. You're gonna be tested, 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 and you're gonna discern. He been there in a jail with in Miami. Man, imagine I heard he was just going to host the event, but that didn't work out. So I want to understand why, who was a girl, where's the victims, and we'll see it. We'll see it. So it's insane. It is insane. So hold on. So here. We're gonna go here. Oh yeah, that was same way you're seeing this stuff from my previous live videos. So hold on. I'm gonna go presentation. You can see it now. So I'll clear it off. Okay, and we're gonna go Andrew Tate case. Yeah, see what happened recently with Brother Tate. Let's see what happened. Let's see what happened. All right. Here. There we go.
Until now. First, they try and cancel you, then they put you in jail, and if that doesn't work, they kill you.
Listen.
Andrew Tate, what's the real reason you were canceled, and what's the real reason you were put in jail?
Well, thank you for taking the time to do this, Jack. I'm not sure when this is going to see the light of day. However, a lot of the intimidation tactics against me are intensifying. And I've realized that many people at home who have witnessed parts of this story haven't seen or understood the entire story. And I've never told the entire story of what they actually did to me. So I feel like perhaps in case something happens to me, or perhaps they'll be successful. It certainly sounds like from the messages I'm getting that something is going to happen pretty soon, that I should just explain from the start of the very beginning of the story all the way to the end what they did to me and what everybody witnessed and what they're trying to do right now. And I think by the time I've done that, and it may take a little while, I'll be able to answer that question a little bit better.
So does this story start with Big Brother 2016 or December 29th, 2022?
This story begins a little...
Want to make sure my audio works.
2016.
Audio good? The audio is good.
little bit before December 29th, 2022. And I've got a whiteboard here because it's quite a complicated story I want to explain to everybody. In fact, this story, like all good stories, begins with a beautiful woman, because that's how all stories begin. I was in Dubai with a beautiful girl from Sweden, and she was 6'1" and she was gorgeous. And we were living together in Dubai. And then she said to me, I'm thinking of going back to school. I said, why would you do that? That's the biggest waste of time in the world. She said, no, I want to go back to Stockholm and get a degree. I said, your man is a millionaire. I'm rich. I've retired from my webcam days. I'm living in Dubai. I'm a rich man. Why would you want to go back and do this schooling when you have me? She said, well, I want to get qualifications and I don't know what else to do. What else is there to do? And I remember sitting across the table from her and I thought, that's a good point. What else is there to do? There is nothing else to do but go and waste your time getting one of these degrees, spending 4 years, spending $300,000. Everybody knows it's a waste of time. But if you can't get the job you want, or you can't get a job that pays a lot of money, nobody knows what else to do. So you just go and you give your money to mainstream education. So when she said that to me, I said, you're right. There is nothing else to do. And I called Tristan and I said, we're going to start a school. He's like, what? I said, we're going to start a school. We're going to start an alternative to traditional education, which everybody knows is a waste of time. We have a huge opportunity here. Everybody knows this particular product is a waste of time. It's extremely expensive and people are being forced to do it because there's no alternative. So let's give everyone an alternative. People want money. They don't want a degree. They don't want to go and study for 4 years. They want money. They want it today. We're going to teach people how to do that. Hustlers University. And we're going to open our own school and it's going to be nice and simple. So I called up a few people I knew. I called up a guy who made money with stock trading, called up a guy I knew who made money with drop shipping, e-com, called up a guy who made money with crypto trading. And I said, look, I'm going to do the big mouth at the front of it. I'm going to use my wealth and my influence to attract people to this school. And you're going to do 5 or 6 hours a day of live calls and convince people and show people how to make money online. We're going to get a Discord server. We're going to attach a Stripe account. Nice and easy. Monthly subscriptions. Split it all up. It's going to be nice and easy. They're all like, yeah, we'll try it. See how it goes. Turns out, because I'm a genius, it was very successful. Within the first week, we had 25,000 paying students. 25,000 students paying $50 a month in a week. We now have a real business. You know, it's kind of interesting. We're here in Los Angeles right now, and I asked you to do this podcast. And while we're here, it's the Milken Conference. And I'm talking to a lot of people who own these fintech companies, these ed tech companies. They could never, in a million years, there's no technology company that can start day one, no cash raise, no debt, giving away no equity, just us without raising a single penny. All of a sudden, we have 25,000 students paying $50 a month. We're turning over, whatever that is, $2, $3, $4 million a month at 80% margin. From day one, we're an ultra profitable company. At a 10 or 15x multiplier, we're a $300 or $400 million business on day one. So everything is going pretty well. Everything's going swimmingly.
Dude, you heard that? That is crazy. That multi-million, dude. Be honest. That's good. Hold on. Mike. Oh, good.
I'm promoting this school. The girls moved to Sweden. Don't care about her anymore. I'm buying more Lamborghinis. Me and the professors are all making money. Everything is going well. These are the days of 2020, 2021. People remember me on the internet. I was more of a fringe internet celebrity. And I was telling people the truth. I wasn't scamming anyone. I was saying to the young men, if you want to make money, I'll teach you how to make money. But what I didn't realize is that I was getting into a war with big education. And big education, very much like big pharma, don't like when you take their money away. So as my school grows, as I promote it, and off the top of my head, if I use ninja memory, I had around 36,000 students at this point. I got an offer. And I'm going to write some things down because at the end of this, I want everything to make sense. And it was a sponsorship offer. So I'm going to write down sponsorship. I got approached, and I'm going to leave out certain names just in case I do manage to get out of this mess. I got approached not to buy my company off of me, which is what I thought the offer was initially. I thought I was going to sell out for 400M. I started a company 9 months later, 400M, nice and easy, right? Because people are buying technology companies that are in debt. People are buying technology companies that don't make money. People are buying technology companies that are running at a loss. I'm running at 80% margin, doing millions of dollars a week. But no, instead they said, we want to sponsor you personally, Andrew. And we want you to shut up about certain things, not push the school, not say certain things, instead have certain opinions on certain topics. And in return, we're going to give you $50 million. It was a 3-year contract, $50 million. I sat there and thought, 16, 17 million a year, I'm making that already. And I get to say whatever I want. So I don't really want your sponsorship contract because it comes with all these rules. You're trying to tell me what to say. Maybe I'm, Jack, maybe I'm stupid. But I thought, what's the point in having money if you can't say what you want? Women can't drive. Sorry. It's the truth. And I'm going to say it.
Hey, just want to make sure. Yeah, my audio, my microphone is acting up anyway. So let me see if I can use another mic. Let's see if I can do studio. Better? I guess it's better.
Say it. So I said, I'm not that interested. Thank you very much. And they said, but we have the best PR teams. So if anything bad ever comes out or anything negative is said about you in the press, our PR teams can help with that. I said, well, I don't need a PR team. At this point, I'm a fringe internet celebrity, right? I'm not in the mainstream media. Like, I don't care about your PR team. And they said, and we have the best legal teams. So if you ever get any trouble to protect our investment into you, we're going to make sure you have the best legal counsel. I said, I'm not in any trouble. I haven't done anything wrong. So why do I need this legal protection either?
Yeah.
I was unaware at the time in my ignorance that those were threats.
Hell
They were saying that our PR teams, which could help you, could also wreck you. And our legal teams, which could help you, could also wreck you. They were veiled threats. I didn't understand that. So I declined their sponsorship offer.
What was the industry?
It was a conglomerate, and they had significant interest in, let's say, clothing, perfumes, the standard things you'd expect a Hollywood A-lister to be pushing on a billboard. Standard, normal stuff. And then those people are very careful about what they say on certain subjects, for sure. But I thought, I don't really want to be owned, and this school's going somewhere. Like, we gain students every single day. I am going to take down the education industry. Me, Andrew Tate, one guy in Romania in his house. Me and my 6 friends on a Telegram chat are running a $400 million business. I'm going to take it all.
You know what? Hold on. What? I think this is why Trump got mad. Because I heard that Trump said he wouldn't be involved on the case that recently happened to Tate. So he's explaining what exactly is going on. What exactly happened.
Take it all down. I don't need your money. Don't tell me what to say. I'm the top G. Go away. So I declined the sponsorship contract. They kept reminding me about these PR teams, these legal teams. So why do they keep saying this to me? I don't need PR. I don't need a lawyer. And they must have sat there and thought, this idiot doesn't understand what we're saying. So I declined the sponsorship contract. We continue to grow. A few months after that, Tristan gets a message from a girl. Can't say her name because it's open litigation. We'll call her Girl A.
Here's the problem. Every single freaking thing that happened to a man was because of one B. That is insane, bro. Every single problem on earth. Look, I'm gonna put it here. Samson, remember Samson? He fought scarcity beasts on earth. He, grabbed lions with his bare hands, and he did all that stuff. When Delilia, whoever it was, FB, she seduced him, and he fell for it. And guess what happened to Samson? When he was sleeping, she cut his hair, because his hair was the strength. Look at the Genesis, Adam and Eve. Eve got seduced by the devil, and the devil came in the forbidden fruit. So now she seduced Adam, and guess what happened? We've been exiled from the Garden of Eden, from the closest to be the closest to God. That's the interpretation in the Bible, but it could be, genetic engineering. However, all the biggest problems comes because of a woman. Okay? I'm not saying all women are bad. I'm not saying that, but the American woman, they have bad influences. I seen it with my buddies. I seen it with a bunch of people. Look at Trump. I seen exes of mine. My exes. They come to trying to tarnish my name, trying to say blah. I just don't care. Bro. I've been a gentleman. That's what they're trying to claim back, and they will say this. Nah, that's not true. That's not true. No, that is not true. We don't want anything to do with you. I don't want anything to do with it. You're gone. Like, bro, when in the past I received text messages from them and calls like, hey, what's going on? Like, bro, it just, I know it's just testing the water. I'm just gonna hang up on this girl. That's just, I don't have time for that stuff. All the problems that happen, most of the problems on earth is because these type of girls that they act based on feelings, like Ted says here, is the biggest issue that drag down men. Put their men down, or they soften it. That's why I don't want anything to do with any female. Okay. Not that I don't see some, but I'm a very nice gentleman. I'm a very really good, respectful person of honor and respect. Just like Ted says here in this video. It says, dude, it's just insane, man. Just think about it.
Girl, she's the beginning. She's the omega. She's the source of this. Girl A lives in Miami. Tristan knew her from a few years before.
Miami.
And she messages Tristan, hey, I want to come see you in Romania. Tristan's like, why? I've always wanted to see you in Romania. Tristan's like, okay then. And sends her a picture of his debit card and said, see you soon. She books herself a first-class flight, flies to Romania. So we have girl A. All of this will tie together at the end.
Dude, this is 3
Girl.
hours. We're not going to go 3 hours.
And every single application was logged out. Uber, Airbnb, Skype, any app on my phone, all of them were gone.
Coinbase?
Everything. Every single app. All of my bank accounts, Coinbase. I had a NatWest and a HSBC bank in England. They seized all that money. We'll talk about that soon. Everything was frozen. Everything was gone. My entire phone just became a brick. And I called a friend of mine from my girlfriend's phone. I said, how the fuck can they do this? And he said, they put you on a terror watch list. They can only do that if you're on a terror watch list. And I was like, surely not terror. The fuck? I'll call you back. Here I film my final message.
All that's left for me to do is have a positive impact on the world. I don't think anybody truly wants to go down as a villain. Maybe some people do. I don't. I wasn't raised that way.
I sit down on the chair and I give my final message to the world. I decided to retire from the internet. I thought, you know what, Andrew? You made $100 million. You got $1 billion business. They're after you. You're starting to feel a bit paranoid. It's getting hot. You have a very credible source telling you you're on a terror watch list. Once you're on a terror watch list, all bets are off. There's no more law. There's no more constitution. All of that's gone. They can shoot you in the middle of the street. Police can come up and just shoot you and go, terrorist threat. End of story. And the basic premise was that I had so much power over the young men in 2022 that I could have caused a revolution. They're probably right. I probably could have said, fuck the Matrix, Westminster Palace tonight. Let's take over. And it would have been the fucking end. Please understand, the Matrix does not fear women. This is why they empower women. This is why they constantly attack me for being a misogynist. They want women to be as powerful as possible because you know what happens when women are powerful? Nothing. If women protest, if 100,000 women march through this town right now and protest, it's inconvenient. If 100,000 men march through this town, everything burns and the entire government changes. Men can fight. Men are armies.
Yeah.
Women don't matter. They don't give a shit if women protest. They don't give a fuck. So you want women at the top of the pyramid. You want women as powerful as possible so that women are in charge of society so that you can just stay at the top of your castle stealing and raping and pillaging from everybody. Just stealing all the money, destroying society, importing whoever, breaking all the laws. And what's going to happen? A bunch of women are going to nag. Give a fuck. When men get together, it's not called a protest. It's called a revolution. Women don't do revolutions. They can't.
Yeah.
So they deliberately empower women to subjugate men. That's why masculinity has been under such attack. And I came along and was the most Googled man in the world promoting masculinity, not realizing this was putting me at war against the Matrix itself. I wasn't even political at that time. I didn't even talk about political parties. I just said to young men, stand up for yourself, go to the gym, stick for what you believe in. You're allowed an opinion. You matter too. And that was considered so dangerous. I ended up on a terror watch list and they wiped my entire phone. And the country that put me on a terror watch list, you want to guess?
US.
Incorrect, sir.
United
England.
Kingdom.
Great Britain put me on a terror watch list. The Foreign Office, in the paperwork I later saw, which they wrote to the Romanians, said, he is an unchecked.
It's November, roughly.
This is December. I start getting letters trying to convince me to kill. It started off as DMs on Twitter from fake accounts. And then it would grow into emails. And then I started getting handwritten letters written by psychologists. And I don't know they were psychologists, but I assume they had to have been because I've never read something so enthralling. I was never going to kill myself. But it was enthralling to read. It was interesting to read. And it was trying to convince me that my life was effectively over. And that if I martyr myself, I get to go out as a hero because of what the state has done to me, as opposed to being ground down by the state in a war I can't win to the point where I wish I did it. And that by the time I eventually kill myself, no one's going to care. So do it while people care. And they mentioned my kids, who no one knows the names of. They mentioned the names of the mothers of my kids. And these fake accounts on Twitter who pose to be haters, who know everything about the case, everything about my children, everything about the mothers of my children. They're fully fed the case file. They have the case file. They have all this information that are coming from these letters, trying to convince me to kill myself. I get a letter every day saying, Andrew, you're going to kill yourself effectively. You're going to do it in the end anyway. Don't do it when no one cares. Go out like a hero. You've always been a hero. You can stay a hero for eternity. Just kill yourself. And then my girlfriends start getting messages. My girlfriends and the mothers of my kids get messages. Leave Andrew. He's only going to drag your life down. You can use the government to get money from him. Go and report him for abuse, accuse him of abuse, sue him for money. You can get money from him. Why are you with this scumbag? Why are you staying beside him? His life is over. He's never going to be able to give you a good life. The only chance of a good life is to take his money and go find another man. My main chicks are getting these messages. The mothers of my kids are getting these messages, convincing them. And I know my women love me, but women are susceptible to pressure and psyops. They cry, and they come to me crying. Do you think you will get out of this? I'm like, don't fucking start breaking now. That's what they want. They want you to give up hope so that you leave. Because they realize they couldn't get to me, so they start going for all the women around me. TikTok accounts of my girlfriend and making fun of her. She's a whore. She's a whore. One day she'll leave Andrew. Everywhere. And no matter how many times they get deleted, new ones pop up. New ones pop up. That was all funded by an NGO. And we're going to come back to this NGO. There's an NGO linked to Girl A, which we're going to come back to later. Ninja.
What was the word in the letter that you interested or repeated?
It was different on different podcasts, but I'm going to find one and find you an exact example of it so you can place it here because...
Dude, there was an NGO.
Every time they'd send me a suicide letter, next time
Dude, there was an NGO, bro. That is insane. That was an NGO, dude. Can you imagine there's 100 dudes just trying to text you and tell you all that stuff? Like, yeah, you're a loser and stuff. They're just trying to break your soul and your mind. So that's all they're doing. I remember I seen these very close one was back in 2022, 2023. And they got locked in Romania because of this situation. I do clearly, vividly remember, and then especially when the elections from Trump. Anyway, I mean, the things are the way they are, but he's proven there. This guy earned it. He got himself into a big rodeo. The people just don't like it, and they're just gonna come back and trying to hit him. That's what they try to do. That's why this is why you always protect yourself, man. I don't know if you carry your conceal or whatever you do, or you have a security team or even just bodyguards. I mean, the final boss is Tate here. So that's why you see him in old videos with somebody scolding him. There are bodyguards around him. And it technically, yes. So that's why it's very smart when he flies, he takes a plane. Because that's mysteriously one of the things that he said, that the type of mysterious plane crashes and stuff like that, So that's how they're just gonna try to. But the problem was because that administration was from Biden. I remember that. So crazy, man.
Time I did an emergency meeting, I would specifically say a word from the letter, an unusual word, so they knew I read it, and they knew I was talking to them saying no. I'd say it directly before or after I told them how I was unfucking phased.
Because I tell you something, when your progeny, when your grandchildren come up to you and say, "Why are we brokies, Dad?" If you're looking for a group of men who are on the journey to become the kind of men we talk about, and also men who are already at the pinnacle, the highest echelons of masculine accountability and capability, that's what the war room is. All of these systems, which are designed to create good citizens of a respectable society and preserve sanctimonium amongst the populace, are actually corrupted and gay.
But I'm not going to lie, they got to the women around me. Women around me were more suicidal than I was because they're just under so much pressure. Even like, imagine you got my daughter, you're the mother of my kid, and you're living a normal life. You don't have social media. You're a good woman. You don't go clubs. You don't go parties. You don't have social media. You don't show off. You're a nice, normal woman. And you're getting letters with pictures of with the name of your child and saying your child's life's over and all this shit. Like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
This is the British government, by the way, the good guys. This is the good guys doing this, trying to convince women to kill. They didn't tell the women to kill themselves. Trying to convince the women to leave me and take my money because I'm going to kill myself. This is the good guys, the good UK state. The people who didn't give a fuck about the grooming gangs, these fucking scumbags. So it was all from the government. We're going to get there in the end. That all started after I destroyed the BBC because I beat them in their narrative war. And the entire world is just a battle for influence. That's all it is. And I had more influence than the BBC. You can't be one man with 28,000 fan pages with more influence than the BBC, causing young men to stick up for themselves in a state which is trying to extract resource from the young men and ruin their lives. The average man's life in England sucks. It's shit. They pay taxes. They're losing their country. They can't fucking do anything, go anywhere. They just build the roads, and then they're told they have to go die in addition Ukraine. It's over. Me telling them to stand up for themselves was considered an act of resistance against the enslavement. So UK government's like, oh, just convince them to kill themselves. And in my darkest hours, I'd lay in bed. I'd fuck my girlfriend and then she'd fall asleep and I'd just lay there and I'd be tossing and turning and I'd be fucking staring at the wall and night sweats and I'd just be a fucking mess. I'd get up and start pacing around my bedroom like a fucking psycho, just pacing up and down my bedroom, and I'd end up picking up one of the notes and reading the letter, just pacing up and down. And it's my stubbornness who was like, whoever wrote this is going to have to explain to their boss why I didn't do it. So, like, they never got close to convincing me because I'm so stubborn, Jack. No matter how suicidal I would have ever felt, I knew my life annoyed them. And that's when I'd read it, and then I'd be up all night, 48 hours, no sleep. And then I'd go into the garden, and there's a video of me on a Bugatti scooter with Tristan in the garden doing circles. Please play the video. It was after that night. I was like, they're checking my social media to see, because I got a new letter today that I haven't posted in 12 hours. And I just had the Romanian news is saying they might have to re-imprison me. And all this pressure's on me, all this heat's on me. And the BBC saying, and the BBC saying bad things, and I'm feeling the heat. They're going to wait and see what the next thing I post is. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm on a scooter with Tristan. Fuck you. Because I'm stubborn. Now we're making this video. I'll be honest, it was getting to me. But I don't believe in mercy. I don't believe my enemies are ever going to have mercy, so I don't ask for it. My dad didn't raise me that way. I wasn't raised to believe that if you're weak enough, people will feel sorry for you.
Yeah, if you're weak enough, people will never feel sorry for you, man. That is insane, bro. So anyway,
I don't believe that's how the life works. I don't think
how it is.
You go in front of your enemies and go, I'm a little bitch, please. That they're going to do anything other than destroy you. They're going to destroy you anyway.
That's when they double down, usually.
Of course. The Prime Minister. The Prime Minister. The primary threat to the UK is Andrew Tate.
Many young boys are exposed to Andrew Tate and many other things of the same type, which is, on the one hand, a sort of an attraction, but on the other hand, loaded with misogyny.
The Prime Minister. All the problems of that country, everyone's talking about me. Now, the interesting question you have to ask yourself at home, what is my chance of a fair trial in the UK when the Prime Minister is saying I'm the biggest problem for the country? 0. They've just thrown away jury trials. So what's...
Bro, honestly, he nailed it. You know what? He said, yeah, I think in the UK there's a lot of problem. I heard also from some of my friends that if you walk with a watch, you're gonna get stabbed like randomly. There's a lot of immigrants. They're like, of course, nowadays it's different, but a lot of people who came from other southern countries, from Africa and all this stuff. Man, it's crazy. Yeah. So he said that UK is losing their country. That's where everything started. So why have the open border stuff? That's what. Hey man, this Prime Minister Starmer, I'm pretty sure that was his name. He resigned because they technically push everything on it. There was a lot of pressure and heat on it. But remember, it was previous administration, bro. Bro, I'm not making this up. I saw the video from Myron Gaines when he said that. He actually said that somebody just brought that tweet to him.
What's my chance of ever fucking beating the UK in anything? Fucking zero. That's why they tried to extradite me. But that judge puts me back on house arrest. The reason they requested jail until extradition is so that I couldn't speak on the internet. But I'm back on house arrest. So what do? Tristan, emergency meeting. We sit down and we start telling the truth about Keir Starmer and Ukrainian rent boys, which he got caught doing, giving all their money away to Ukraine. UK's a fucking shithole, corrupt. Romania corrupt, UK's corrupt. Fuck you people. We start fucking gunning for them. Because what else are we going to do? Go down swinging. We start gunning for the UK government. We're on house arrest. A month house arrest. Second month house arrest. Third month house arrest. Just locked in our fucking house. On Twitter all day. On podcasts all day. Fixing the narrative. These counter accounts. These hater accounts who have the criminal file and doing all these podcasts and doing all this bullshit in their fucking Twitter spaces and constantly messaging out things, trying to fight their narrative. The UK government via NGOs is fighting their narrative. Us via our students and our soldiers in the school are fighting our narrative. Us on house arrest. The prosecutor saying, where's your fucking money from? We're telling him to get fucked and buying a new car every day just to piss him off, sitting there doing emergency meetings. Then.
So I don't know if power is gonna go. You see something that happened. I'm pretty sure you saw it. Power was about to break, but hey, hopefully this stuff doesn't break. Otherwise, you're gonna see the stream. Pretty sure.
Bang, bang,
Yeah.
bang,
Power is
bang. I hear the door. 5 a.m. But every time that we got raided, we galvanized our house against raids. However they got in the first time, they didn't get in the second time. This is raid number 3. So we got pretty good at it. We learned that they climb on the roof, so we put bulletproof glass. We bought doors from Switzerland for banks, 135,000 euro, blast proof. We've removed all the windows. People make fun of my house. He lives in a warehouse. Yep. Raid me, dare you. You live in a nice house with glass. It's nice and pretty. You're not safe. I am. Bang, bang. I hear it. I wake up. I say to my girl, I'm like, give me your phone. Give me your phone. She starts panicking, gives her phone. I'm like, wipe your phone. Because all they want is phones. Wipe my phone. Factory reset. Wipe your phone. Go outside. Tristan's walking down. I'm like, wipe your phones. Done. Laptops. Wipe all our laptops. Wipe. Because all they want to see is fucking financial records, money, who we've been talking to, the school, how it works. Wipe. We wipe everything. Bang, bang, bang. And after about like 6-7 minutes, I was like, everyone wiped everything? Tristan goes, yeah. I was like, well, let's just chill. So we go in our cigar room. We sit there. Say to my girl, coffee. She goes and makes us 2 coffees.
What the?
We get a cigar. We light the cigars up. And we're watching on our screen, on the cameras, 30 police outside with the fucking baton. And they're taking turns. One will go till he's tired, pass on to the next one. And we sat there with our coffees, smoking our cigars, saying, we're so fucked, bro. Tristan's like, I know. I'm like, we're going back, aren't we? He goes, 100%. This is to be the 3rd time. There's no way we can keep getting out. They're going to fucking bang us up. I was like, I know. What are we going to do? He goes, it's a Matrix attack. It's got to ride it out. It's you and me. Always going to be you and me. We have to find a way to get into the same cell. We've got to do the blood pressure trick again. Got to eat raw coffee, do the blood pressure trick. I talked about that on Patrick Bay. We can put that in.
And then I said to Tristan, I whispered in his ear, I was like, they bugged this cell. Let's prove it. So we started talking about Ireland. So I wonder if they found the assets in Ireland. They took everything in Romania. I wonder if they found the assets in Ireland. We talked about it for about a week, and then we saw it on the news. Investigation expanded to Ireland. Neither him or I have ever been to Ireland in our lives. Never been there. No connection to it. So I was like, look, told you. I was like, yeah. So we continued to talk shit. So that's why they put us together. So we had to kind of develop sign language in the cell. So we didn't talk very much because everything was being listened to, right?
Get back in the for hour. Yes. Okay. Thursday, 2 p.m. It was a fucking clown show. But it's Romania. It's Zambia. They don't give a fuck. Problems in Romania where people would go to trial with cases and they do the whole trial and at the end find out there was no warrant. So they had to throw all the evidence out, and then people who they knew were guilty would walk. So now before they go to trial, they have to check everything was done correctly. We go to the preliminary chamber. It's 2-stage. You have stage 1 and you have the appeal. We go to the preliminary chamber.
Let's go here.
They have one move left. They tried the letters. That ain't going to work. They tried the money 2 days ago. That ain't going to work. They're going to try to kill me. And if they are successful, if they do kill me, all I hope is that this video is watched by as many people as possible so that something happens and changes. Because if you're a man who speaks the truth, your ability to speak freely is directly correlated to your insignificance. You are only allowed to talk the truth if nobody listens to you. If people are listening to you, if you become the most Googled man on the planet and you're saying the right things, they will do everything they fucking can to take you down.
Who are 5 people you want to say fuck you to?
I've heavily analyzed, like, my enemies are in the shadows. Who is behind Lestrada? Who is, who from the UK Foreign Office typed the letter? Who are the psychologists who told me to kill myself? My enemies are in the shadows. And they've sent these odd faces to the front, like the prosecutor and the guy who tried to take the Portuguese man's cars and this garbage.
Bruh.
I'd be a fool to consider them my enemies. They're just pawns. My enemies are the king and the queen. I don't know who they are. That's why you can't get them, because you don't know who they are. The people who are really in charge of the world, we don't know who they are. We don't know who makes these calls. That's why they keep getting away with it. But you still would have a temptation in my position to say fuck you to the faces you do know. But I don't really have that temptation because, to be honest with you, I have analyzed my performance throughout this saga so heavily. And I think I've annoyed them more than they've annoyed me. I think I've won. I think they're so frustrated with me. I think that the Daily Telegraph, which printed 3 days ago, Andrew Tate must be extradited urgently. That's not an organic piece from the media. Why would the media be talking about me 4 years later? Why would the media print about me every single day, no matter what, on repeat? Because they're instructed to by the state, because they're a propaganda arm. So we must urgently get Andrew Tate, says the Telegraph, because the British government told them to.
Why power?
And that just shows how pathetic and frustrated they are. When they call a hotel in Hong Kong, please kick him out. And the owner goes, I'm not going to kick you out. They're losers. I'm like, I know they're losers. And then I post from the hotel having a cigar on my Twitter.
Okay.
Imagine thinking you're the big boss and you're like working for the government. You're a spy. You're James Bond working for MI6 and little old Andrew's making a fucking dickhead out of you. I think I've annoyed them far more than they'll ever annoy me. And I think even if they kill me, it's the same. Even if they kill me, I get to be a hero forever. It's fine. I'm sure dying will suck, but then I'll be dead.
Do you fear death?
I fear dying. I don't think you can fear death because you're dead then. I fear dying. I'm worried about the people I'm going to leave behind. But I'm almost there, bro. I'm 40. I've got 20, 30 years left anyway. And I've lived more life than most men will ever live in 100 years. So I can't complain about my experiences. I've had it from the bottom. I've had Romanian jail and all this shit, Bugattis, private jets, the most beautiful women on the planet, endless children, endless money, fame, most famous man in the world, a fighter, a chess player. I've done everything. I've done everything. I've had a great life. But I don't want to say fuck you to anybody because I believe that somehow, in the end, things work out fair. And if I end up dead, that's fine, because I believe there's going to be some degree of karmic justice for the people who did this to me.
I really think we should add, if this is your last podcast, what is the one thing you want men to remember?
I recently lost a boxing match, and everyone says to me, Andrew, why'd you do that? You're too old to fight. Who does this and then goes and fights? Of course I lost. The fuck? Who does this? And when the second he's free, gets in there with someone 40 kilo, 50 pounds heavier than him and 15 years younger than him and 2 inches taller than him. What kind of idiot? People ask me, does it bother you because you were top G and you lost this fight? I always, when presented with the 2 pieces of paper, when I was presented with the red pill and the blue pill, I have always my entire life taken the brave choice. At the time of filming of this podcast, I have just rejected their $50 million to drop my case and make all this go away. I just took a brave choice. And now they're all sitting around a table deciding what they can do. And I'm not even saying they're bad people. As funny as this sounds, I'm not even going to say they're evil. I guarantee they're saying, is there anything we can do besides kill it? Problem is, the list is getting thin. And soon the conversation is going to turn to, there's nothing else left. We either kill him or we let him win. Nothing else is working. We either kill him or we let him win. Well, what happens if he wins? Everything. Everyone's fucked. And then they have to make a choice. Do we want to tear the whole system down that pays us and pays our kids and the system we believe in and the system we built for one guy? Or does he want to be in a plane accident? Planes crash, bro.
Yo.
Shit happens. The world moves on. Epstein died. The world's moved on just fine. Shit happens. So I want people to understand
Why power?
that no matter what happens to me, I never feel regret, even if it all goes wrong, because I'm proud of my track record of always choosing the brave choice.
Bro.
When we last did a podcast, my security team and I spotted a tail about 2 days before our last podcast, and we noticed we were being followed. Now, with some investigation, we believe it may have just been people who wanted to rob us, but at the time, we thought it might have been a more serious threat. And that's why I was acting the way I was when I last saw you, with the security teams I had, and I was so concerned, and I was really worried, and I wanted to come in the middle of the night, and I had so many guys outside with guns, etc. This is no way to live, truthfully. It's no way to live. The sword of Damocles is far more intimidating than the grapes are tasty. And I actually think the reason I've said no to them is because if I say yes to them, I think that they may still consider killing me. So what I'm going to do, instead of living this way for the rest of my life as a king with that sword over my head, I'm going to force a decision.
Yeah.
Either I'm going to fucking win or you're going to kill me.
Well, everyone, this has been your guest, Andrew Tate. This is the Jack No Podcast. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, sir.
We'll do another one soon.
That's crazy. That is crazy. You heard that? Yeah, you was fight. Don't let what if you get into a contract and you take it, they will do the same. Dude, it's like he said it, it's like Hollywood type of thing, a billboard. And you know what? Have you ever seen these alleged new colognes that they say in Hollywood stuff, bro? It's just technically like that. You know, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Let's see what it says here. He reposted.
Grooming gangs to groom at length for decades. They don't care. They won't even investigate it. They won't look at it. They open the borders and allow in millions of military-age men, God knows where they're from, without passports. No one knows their criminal record, from questionable countries, which obviously have a misogynistic worldview, because I'm the world's worst misogynist. They allow these people to roam our streets. They pay for them to come, and they pay for them to live for free, which makes women unsafe. They have no time to police any of this. They have no time to investigate any of this, but they have time to drag up allegations on me
from 15 years ago for
That
talking
is
about these
insane.
issues. If they cared about women, they'd fix the issues. They don't care about women. Do not buy it for a second. They don't care about women. They don't care about young girls being safe. They don't care about combating misogyny. They don't care about any of that. They care about control and locking up anyone who highlights the problems inside of the UK. It is so
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah, you're gonna get it, bro. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. Let's go and find what's going on with the case. I need to see what McBride, McBride, I think McBride, I think that's C, bruh. Not that B, bro. Joe McBride. There you go. That is. I'm gonna follow him. For real, man. Let's see. Everywhere. Andrew and Tristan Tate go. People want something: time, photos, money, podcast content, favors, proximity, greatness. Take. If these men inspire you, if you pull it off the couch, if they pulled you off the couch and into fight, you owe them. Stop asking what they can give. Yeah, for real, man. Give back, step up, speak up, fight, everything. That, bro, Waller is there, man. Telemundo, CNN, bro. That's, let's see. Yeah. Fox News is there too. I can see it. I need to see the video. What's going on? That is insane, bro. Bro. So they're making his life harder. But what about? I'm talking about Andrew Tate, bro. They're making his life harder. But these type of dudes, you see, these have P. Hello. That's all right. What they did to Andrew and Tristan Tate on Sunday. Andrew and Tristan, bro, this happened, bro, August 10, dude. Andrew and Tristan Tate remain in the Special Housing Unit, SHU, at FDC Miami Federal, Department Correctional or something like that. They have seen the sunlight only for 4 times since July 18. On Sunday, guards deployed OC spray on the SHU. My client Andrew and Tristan Tate had nothing to do with the incident. They were locked in their cells when it happened. The guards had gas masks. Andrew and Tristan Okay. Sorry, just like the guards had gas masks. Andrew and Tristan, however, were afforded no such luxury, locked in a cell with nowhere to go. The chemical spray quickly filled the SHU, poured into their cells, and burned their eyes, throats, and airways. To protect themselves, Andrew and Tristan wet their t-shirt in the shower and wrapped their eyes and heads in the shirt at best they could. The Bureau of Prisons' own regulation demands immediate medical examination and treatment. The Department of Justice own a manual says the first aid for this chemical is fresh air and copious amounts of cool water. Andrew and Tristan received no air, no water, no doctor, no nurse. Dude, this is serious, bro. This is crazy, bro. They're torturing them in somehow. 2 men convicted of no crime in any country on earth wrapped wet t-shirts around their faces, sat in a chemical cloud, and waited. Bro, that's insane. Why nobody? Why they're not doing anything for these guys, man? Why? What's the system in there in Miami? I mean, why? Why? I don't understand this. They shouldn't mistreat these guys, man. So You do not have to take my word for it. 2 hours later, my co-counsel, Tom Maniotis, arrived at the facility for a legal visit. The air was still so toxic that his eyes burned and he struggled to breathe. Thomas cut the meeting short and agreed to come back in 2 hours to give time for the chemicals to clear out. Thomas went to our apartment and washed his face and hands. He returned to the SHU a second time, where the meeting had to be cut short because his eyes were irritated and his throat was burning. So much so that he went straight from the jail to an urgent care. Dude, that is insane, man. Shit. I cannot even see myself, man. You're sitting in a room, you're already trying to break your soul in that room, and then they throw you some burning gas, bro. That's fucking crazy. That is insane, bro. That's the biggest torture on the modern history, man, to somebody who already worked for his money, his legacy. He built himself. He's well, I mean, he's playing it. He does have the university, right? He called it university. That's why, because he's just teaching people about finances. It's the literacy of finances. That's what his business is at. Besides, he does a bunch of other stuff, cars and real estate stuff. That is insane, man. Where he was diagnosed with acute toxic conjunctivitis, a chemical injury to his eye. Yeah, conjunctivitis, so the eyes are irritated and use that diagnosis is on paper from a hospital. Think about what I'm saying. Thomas' short-term exposure sent him straight to the urgent care. Andrew and Tristan have been stuck in the SHU since the incident happened without medical care or the contamination protocol of any kind. They sit in a cell over no American charge and no broken rule. They sit there because the United Kingdom, which watched them travel freely for 3 years and did nothing, suddenly demanded their arrest. Instead of this safekeeping the law requires, Andrew and Tristan are being horribly punished. 4 hours of sunlight in 3 weeks, bunks too short for their bodies, no pillows, legal meetings, in rooms monitored by cameras, and now a chemical agent in their cells with no help after, bro. That chemical, bro, dude. The chemical, bro. It's just like that reminds me like the gas chambers, bro. Technically, it's a gas chamber. They just put you there and then just throw gas, man. You could die. You could be gone. Instead of say keeping the law requires Andrew and Tristan are being hard reported, yeah, monitored by cameras. The Supreme Court says a man awaiting trial might not be punished at all. Of course. He has to be proven guilty. Okay, to be punished at all. England's own law says a man jailed before trial is held for safe custody and not for punishment. Every rule forbids what is happening inside that building, and it is happening anyway. On Thursday, August 13, a federal judge in Miami will hear our motion for Andrew and Tristan release. If you care about justice and the right of all American citizens not to be punished this way, then you must speak out. Let the whole world see your anger by sharing this post. Punishment before judgment is a tyranny. Yeah, they're torturing. They're tyrants. Free Andrew and Tristan Tate. Free them now. Dude, I'm gonna repost this, man. Brother Tate, man, shouldn't be there, man. Bro, man. That you see, Joe McBride repost Elon Musk. I know. Uh, that is insane, man. These two poor guys, man. So you can go here and check. This is Joe McBride. Joe McBride is Andrew and Tristan Tate's attorney. He's been in the very beginning of every single situation since the UK and Romania, where Andrew explained it in that video. But I don't understand, man. Why they don't do anything, man? Why they don't do, man? That is insane, man. Let's watch this video, dude.
I love America. I want America
These stuff shouldn't be happening to them.
to win.
The problem is because one
I
girl.
was born in D.C. and then we moved to Indiana.
Yeah, Andrew Tate lived in Gary, Indiana when he was a kid. Hold on. Dude. Oh, shush.
I love this country. I was born in D.C. and then we moved to Indiana. My father served for the country I was born in. I love America. I want America to win. The world is a better place with America in charge. America. I love this country. I love America. I want America to do well. Someone bring me an American flag, a desert eagle, and bullets. Because I'm a fucking American. My culture is the dollar and bullets.
Bro, I can't believe, man. They got this, man.
America, greatest country in the world. We're here to win. We're here to make dollars. Give me a cowboy hat. Hot dog, please. That's the only culture you're ever gonna fucking need.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I got even chills, man. These two brothers, man. Okay, whatever you're trying to support, man, I do support them. I do truly support them. Okay, my team is working on that. Man, it's just insane, man. They need to release these guys because they're innocent, man. I mean, the only problem is that you get stuff with women, bro. You're gonna get cooked, bro. And the nowadays era, man, I'd rather to date a McDonald's girl, man. I mean, not even dating, man. I'm not. I'd rather to gather and have a relationship with a person who is humble, have a humble heart. 98%. This is one of the things that my father told me. 98% of the women in the entire world, as far as I see it, they're they're not loyal. They might be in some ways, but they're still gonna. It's like when you go to the street and then some thugs jump on you and they try to. Let's say you try to rescue your girl. Let her run. Let her run. Tell your girl, run. Trying to find help. Because when I'm here, I'm gonna try to distract them so they don't hurt you. Well, I try to figure out if I have to run, I'll have to run until you find help. Okay, so that's the thing. But guess what happened 1 year after a funeral with the type of woman that we have nowadays? And Tate said it, man. He says it all the time, and I think the same. And my father told me this: 98% of women are not. I don't know what's going on with these girls nowadays, but even older ones. But Ted said it here. They weaponize them. They just want girls in charge of everything because nothing's gonna happen. And 2% they understand clearly, but they still demand. That's a normal thing. Well, you have to work, man. You gotta do your stuff. They still demand attention. You gotta dedicate to your girl, man. You gotta have a really healthy relationship and stuff going on. Oh shit, this camera just fell. So because it's just how it is. It's just part of it. It's just how it is. You can't just. Anyway, let's see what's new with Trump. I want to see what's going on. What's Trump? Let's see. Trump. What's wrong with? What's going on with our president? Was really taking off the plane in the airport. Yeah, I heard that stuff. He went to. Yeah, he got off into the catering truck. So, President Trump was secretly taken off the plane in an airport catering truck. According to multiple reports, Israeli intelligence have warned the U.S. of a specific Iranian plot to shoot down Trump's plane using a shoulder-fire missiles from the close. That's a half-mile away, dude. Dude, could you imagine that stuff, bro? Ain't no way.
In July, cameras caught President Trump walking onto Air Force One in Turkey in full public view. Minutes later, he was gone, secretly smuggled off the plane in an airport catering truck. Here's the wild story behind why. According to multiple reports, Israeli intelligence had warned the U.S. of a specific Iranian plot to shoot down Trump's plane using shoulder-fired missiles from as close as half a mile away. Ankara's airport was considered especially risky, since civilian buildings sit as close as 500 meters from the runway. That risk triggered an elaborate switch. Trump was quietly moved via catering truck onto a smaller military jet, while the actual Air Force One kept flying as a decoy, carrying reporters and senior staff, including Secretary of State Rubio, who reportedly had no idea Trump wasn't actually on board. It didn't stop there either. At a refueling stop in England, Trump was secretly switched yet again, this time onto the newer Air Force One. By the end of the trip, he'd actually flown home on 3 different planes, while the public only ever saw one. On Capitol Hill, Senator Richard Blumenthal has called for a full investigation, describing the whole operation in blunt terms: unprecedented, surreal, and downright scary. Trump himself reportedly told the press pack on the decoy plane, quote, "If I go, you go." So here's where it stands. A genuinely dramatic security operation happened.
That is insane.
That part is confirmed, but whether the underlying threat was even real remains completely unresolved.
That is insane, Joe. We can't. They're still trying to do it, man.
President Barack Obama and top aides in the Obama administration conspired to subvert President Trump's 2016 election victory and undermine the democratic will of the American people. While publicly pretending to engage in a peaceful transfer of power, in private, former President Obama went to great and nefarious lengths to try to sow discord among the public and sabotage his successor, President Trump. The new evidence released by the Director of National Intelligence, who is here with me today, confirms that the Obama administration manufactured politicized intelligence, which was later used as the justification for baseless smears against President Trump in an effort to try to delegitimize his victory before he even took the oath of office. The truth is that President Trump never had anything to do with Russia, and the Russia collusion hoax was a massive fraud perpetuated on the American people from the very beginning. And the worst part of this is Obama knew that truth, and so did all of the other corrupt officials involved in this scam, including former CIA Director John Brennan, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, former FBI Director James Comey, former Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, and many others. Director of National Intelligence Gabbard's report further confirms what we already knew. There was no collusion, no.
That's it. That's it. That's the view of the plane. This is a James Bond style mission. Yo. Airport catering truck pulls away Trump. Media boards plane. Yeah. Staircase to a C-32A. Yeah. They say he went to airport catering truck on the rear of a C-32A. Yeah, because they got into... Oh, dude, these two... Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, I saw that. A hero, 16-year-older. Oh, man. So, the woman sitting next to Trump moves her hand and presses a device on her stomach. And that exact moment, Trump suddenly jumps up, startled, as if she has given him an electric shock to wake him up in front. Do you want to know something, man? I'm gonna tell you something. These men right here. These men right here. Here. Yeah, you can see it. Our president. He endlessly work in meetings. He's working, and don't stop the work. He's 70-some-year-old. He's gonna be 80. Come on, man. I gotta find this right now, man. Okay. I gotta pull this up, man. I'm not trying to. I need to wonder. I knew how old is our president. How old is Trump? There you go. 80-year-old. Yeah, June 14. All right, okay. See? It's 80-year-old. At 80-year-old, man. He's working much more than youngsters. More than me, bro. I guarantee you that. And people criticize him because he's falling asleep. But if he falls asleep, he's working. He's a tired man. Okay? Nobody else has what he has to do. He has to do it. He's tired. He's a tired person. Right? I don't see why people criticize that. If she does that, there's a protocol they have to do. I would have a do. She's not gonna do it. President patching him. Mr. Trump. He's gonna look unprofessional. Not like Biden. Okay? Those are old men everywhere. Even I fall asleep at some meetings when I have meetings. I'm like, hey, Mr. Monroe. Okay, cool. That's insane. So I don't know what's going on with these people that are trying to doing with her hands. Yeah, she's trying to let him know. She's destroyed Iran's whole empire, billions gone, sports crushed. Let's see. I want to understand this. When was
These
post?
banks received letters from the U.S. Treasury. I'm not going to identify.
Iranians want round 2 of peace talks. And the Chinese are begging him to go back to Pakistan because now Beijing starting to feel the heat.
2 Chinese banks received letters from the U.S. Treasury. I'm not going to identify them.
Okay, China is on its knees, begging Iran to surrender. President Trump is just destroyed Iran's oil empire. Billions gone. Exports crushed. Tehran is bleeding out. And Beijing? They are panicking. Xi Jinping is so desperate that he sent Trump a full-blown love letter begging for the war to end. The Chinese are screaming at Iran, get back to the table now. Why? Because America just stole the entire global oil game. Yes, finally, Papa Trump put order, and he's still putting it. And why you all losers criticize him if he's falling asleep? He's taking care of you. It's 2:23 a.m. and I'm here. Okay? And this stuff that he's working so you can sleep your ass. So delicate, so sweet and lovely. Just like a baby. I am working here in this life. Whatever I'm doing, I'm putting this out there. It's insane. It's astronomical how people are. And this is why, when you gather with people, not everybody is bad, You always respect. Even enemies, they have respect for each other. So hypocrite when people come to you and they want to take a selfie or a picture with you, and then you go out there in the street and you just try to speak pests about others. It's like the dude that throw the stone and hides the hand. That's crazy. And yeah, he got us here. We don't need any jihadist, no globalists, none of that crap. Because this country is built for freedom and freedom of speech. That's how it is. If you speak up, back then, you get pew pew, or you're gone, or nobody knows about you. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows. You're seeing it with Tate. That happened to Trump. U.S. crude exports exploded to all-time record heights, over 5 million barrels a day. Over 100 massive tankers are lined up of the Gulf of America like starving animals, fighting for our sweet, sweet crude. Gas, jet fuel, diesel, everything is flying out of our record levels. We are even pulling 1 million barrels a day from our new best friends in Venezuela. Beijing can't get its cheap sanctioned Iranian oil anymore. Every single Chinese trade route to the west controlled by US Navy. They have two choices: buy American or watch their economy choke. All futures already crashed into the 80s. Pump prices are falling fast. This isn't politics. This is America dominating the world stage while China and Iran scramble for scraps. Trump just flipped the entire energy map and the world is watching. Who's feeling the heat now? Yeah, they wanted us to destroy America. They wanted to have the Fenta bullshit, okay? Those bad candies. So people in the streets, they're walking like zombies and they give them for free away. That's what they wanted. And now these Iranian, so proud of it themselves, that's fine. Chanting, I'm not gonna say here. You know what they chant. Well, I put it in a video before, and not just there. They have nukes of mass destruction. I don't know if YouTube gets mad for me putting this here, but they had that type of rockets. Okay, I'm gonna say that because I cannot say the other word. So they had that. we wouldn't even be existing now. And not just there. If Kamala Harris or Bo Biden wouldn't be in charge, bro, none of it, not even you, if you're watching this video, bro, you wouldn't even be here. If you would have speak up, you would have be decapitated. You wouldn't even, they wouldn't chop your head off. You will be gone. Look what happened to Tate. Is versus evil and good. That is insane. That is so insane. At the point that just picture the opposite of what is going on. So the regime in Iran, they pew their people. They use in public. This guy who won there's a champion or something. Was a champion. Was some athlete. I don't remember what was, soccer or something. He spoke up and he went against the regime, and they just like they don't leave him. In China's a beautiful country, but it just they had all mass production of stuff. These mass production made in China, everything made now everything is gonna turn to be made in America, made in the USA, or American made. That's and not just there. The biggest problem that is left now is South Mexico. Is Mexico. Trump is gonna go there, man. Man, I wish Trump step in there, man. I wish he goes there because it is needed. We need this happening. Oh my God. I think this stuff went all the way there. I was looking for that stuff, man. Let me see. Okay. I guess that's going back now. Oh, boy. Okay. Let's see this girl, Mia. Let's see. Barron Trump is now being pulled into the Andrew and Tristan Tate investigation. Donald is furious and claiming the children of President shouldn't be investigated. How quickly they forget the years that took Hunter by. Thumbs up if you want Barron Trump to be investigated. That is insane, dude. Look at these dudes. Like father, like son. Who's this dummy? Mia here. Woman behind tweets. Views my own blue crew. Blue crew. I tell you everything. Anti-MAGA. Mia for bro. These psychedelic people, man. For real. That's insane. That is insane. So you're gonna see this stuff about the
Iranians want round 2 of peace talks. And the Chinese are begging him to go back to Pakistan because now Beijing starting to feel the heat.
2 Chinese banks received letters from the U.S. Treasury. I'm not going to identify the banks, but we told them that if we can prove that there is Iranian money flowing through your accounts, then we are willing to put on secondary sanctions.
Xi Jinping got a bit prickly about the embargo. Now wants the whole war over. He sent a letter to Trump, a love letter.
He's somebody that needs oil. We don't. He's somebody I get along with very well. Just wrote me a beautiful letter.
He wrote you a letter?
Yeah, he did. He responded to a letter that I wrote because I had heard that China is giving weapons to, you're seeing it all over the place, to Iran, that China's giving weapons.
Hey, yeah. That's what I was thinking, bro. How come they never end stuff, bro? China was giving... I know the drones are manufactured to them, but how they get their weaponry, how they get their stuff to still fight somewhere. Of course, I was telling my friends, they told me too. They say, man, you know what? I think that stuff is being endorsed by somebody else's external source. So how come they still can fight back? It's like The dude that has no money, and then out of the sudden you start seeing the signs. He start buying them a car, buying them something else, chilling, hanging out. You see those signs? That dude has money. Of course. How does he get the money? That's exactly. Those are clues.
He's giving them?
Yeah, and I wrote him a letter asking him not to do that. And he wrote me a letter saying that essentially he's not doing that.
Trump says the Chinese are actually happy that we're opening up the strait, saying this: Xi will give me a big fat hug when I get there in a few weeks. Beijing can't buy any more cheap sanctioned Iranian oil, and now every Chinese trade route to the West is controlled by the U.S. Navy. But the Chi-Coms are welcome to buy American, and they already are. The U.S. oil market is open for business, and it is booming. Big oil just had its biggest payday in history. The United States just hit an all-time high all week, exporting 5 million barrels a day. Over 100 tankers are lining up off the Gulf of America to get their frantic little hands on our sweet, sweet crude.
Nice.
And it's not just crude. We're shipping everything from gas, jet fuel, diesel at record levels. And we're getting over 1 million barrels a day from our new amigos in Venezuela. Oil futures for June just dropped into the 80s. Prices at the pump are down from last week's highs and still falling.
If you told me that we were going to be at only $92 a barrel, $92 a barrel, I would have been very surprised.
Boom. That's crazy. Yo. All right. Look. So here's the thing. After that, after Trump fixes stuff with, the Iranians and, with the Chinese government, I when I went to the gas station, man, it's still a $4 or $5. Okay. So Illinois has it at that price. I don't know where you're at, but okay, I'm in Illinois. Okay. So that stuff is at that price. Is not is the state, okay? So because gas prices are not down. They're still like $4 or $5. They shouldn't be. It should be like 3 something. 3-1. That is insane, man. All right, so let's keep checking this. Oh yeah, hold on. After this, the problem that is gonna happen right now that our president needs to fix is immigration and the thing with Mexico. Those are the biggest. If we naturalize, and I was talking with my buddies the other day,